And, Marcus, a measure of just how long a shadow that bomb blast cast in Beirut and beyond, that actually when the blast of a fortnight ago in the port happened, people immediately thought back to Hariri's assassination.
Absolutely, Colin. In fact, I was just talking about that now with a colleague. There was a thread, a psychological and a political thread, which ran from that moment in February 2005, the assassination of former Prime Minister Hariri. The thread ran right the way to that explosion exactly 2 weeks ago. Initially, people wondered if it was another assassination, the beginning maybe of more significant violence for Lebanon. It turned out to be an accident, but nevertheless, the thread was still there because the incompetence of the current government links right back to the events of 2005. And I have to say, the verdict, the judgment that came through today will be a surprise for many people in Lebanon. There was a hope, an expectation that these 4 individuals, all members of Hezbollah, the militant group within Lebanon that wields such significant power now and has done over the years, that they would all be found guilty. In the event, they weren't all found guilty. Only one of them was found guilty for his involvement in the assassination of Mr. Hariri. His name is Salim Ayyash. He was one, as I say, of 4 of the defendants. The other 3 were found not guilty. It was not clear to the 3 judges beyond reasonable doubt that they were involved in his assassination. And the prosecution had, over the past 10 years, more than 10 years that this court has been sitting, put together many bits of evidence, largely resting on mobile phone evidence of the 4 defendants. Mobile phone evidence which linked them not only with the location of the assassination, but also of Mr. Hariri's whereabouts in the weeks before he was assassinated. It was alleged by the prosecution that these 4 individuals, acting on behalf of Hezbollah and in turn on behalf of the Syrian government, which back in at that time was effectively controlling Lebanon, that they had been trailing Mr. Hariri. They had been working out the appropriate time to carry out an assassination, and it was the prosecution's view that those 4 men were responsible for his death. Not so, said the tribunal. It was clear to them, or it wasn't clear to them beyond reasonable doubt, that 3 of these 4 men were involved, and so as a consequence they have been acquitted. Now, what will this mean for Lebanon? Well, it's hard to know, really. Lebanon is in a dire state right now, made all the worse by the explosion of 2 weeks ago. Politically, it is heavily divided, dangerously divided. There was a hope and expectation that justice in the form of this tribunal in The Hague would be an alternative for vengeance. Now, if justice has not been seen to have been taken by those people who believe that Hezbollah and these 4 men were responsible for Mr. Hariri's assassination, then will vengeance take over? That clearly is the fear. It forms part of the belief by some that Lebanon is heading towards some very difficult days, hard as that may be to imagine. Saad Hariri is Rafik Hariri's son. He too has served as a prime minister in Lebanon. He wants to make a comeback. He was in court in The Hague. He did say in the last few minutes, we accept the verdict of the tribunal and we want justice to be implemented. He said he wants just punishment for the criminals who killed his father. He said those who assassinated my father aimed to change the face of Lebanon and its system and its civilized identity, and that there will be no compromise on the matter of justice. So a surprise judgment, I think it's fair to say, in The Hague today, a judgment that has taken more than 10 years to come about. An awful lot of evidence put forward, hundreds and hundreds of witnesses have come forward, many of them not identified because they feared for their life. But the conclusion, 3 of those men found not guilty, the 4th found guilty. And interestingly, the 3 judges also couldn't conclude beyond reasonable doubt that either the Syrian regime, that of Bashar al-Assad, or Hezbollah senior leadership were involved in the killing. That is not to say, some people will argue, that doesn't mean they weren't involved. It just means that legally the court could not conclude beyond reasonable doubt that they were involved.